Hello students, welcome to the next lab of your analog and digital electronics. In the previous lab, we have gone through the A-stable multivibrator, both hardware as well as simulation. And after that, we have seen the relaxation oscillator hardware part. And in today's laboratory, means in this session, we will see the simulation part of your relaxation oscillator by using an op-amp Micro A741. And we can see that here we are going to set the frequency of 2 kilohertz, right? And what are the components that were required for do this simulation? One is op-amp, that is Micro A741, resistor of resistance value 1K and 10K and 1.8K, capacitor of capacitance value 0.1 microfarad, okay, and CRO and power regulated power supply that we are going to use here, right? And we have seen this design part in the hardware side and the hardware video. So in this design, we came across with a resistance of R1 will be 1.8K and R2 will be of 10K, and we have taken the assumption values for the resistor R will be of 1K and capacitor is of 0.1 microfarad. So these are the things that we have observed, and this is our circuit diagram. So this circuit diagram will be used for to plot the circuit on our simulator, and we can execute and we can see that whether we are getting the appropriate result or not as we have designed, okay, as we have observed in our design part. Fine. So let us switch to the multisim. Okay, so this is the our figure. So based upon this figure, we are going to use. So let me go to the multisim. It will take some time to load. So here we are using an iMultisim 11.0 version. So here in this experiment, we should have resistors, capacitor, and op-amp. Okay, these are our basic components that we are going to use, right? So all the components are virtual in nature. We are not using any physical components. Okay, so here we can see that our window is popping up slowly. Okay, and now it is displaying the sheet. Okay, so this is the white sheet. What we can observe is nothing but our design sheet, or we can see that we can say it as a workspace sheet also. So before going for any process, okay, or any operations, first to go for the save as. Okay, go to file and click on save as, and later you can save with the appropriate name. So here I'm going to perform relax. You can see that already previously I have done something. So relax with by using 741 IC. So relax 741. The next time you click save, you can see that now the design part, okay, now it is renamed to the relax 741, and in the bottom also you can see that it is relax 741. So in this worksheet we are going to plot our circuit. So this is the figure. You can see that first we have to use the op-amp. So for that I will go to the place and I'm going to select the component. Okay, so I will click on the component. Now you can see that you are in the master database and the group is in the diode. Obviously we can't see the diode. Okay, we can't see the op-amp in the diode. So for that I will click on that group. Okay, so next one you can see that there are sources are there, transistors are there, analog is there. Okay, so I'm going to click on the analog. In the analog you can see that op-amp is there. Okay, so in that op-amp, either if you want to search, you can search it over here. So directly I have used 741. So it is showing me that 741. Okay, so let me click on that 741. Okay, otherwise Okay, I will go to this 741. I will click on this and I will select, and I am going to place this op amp like this, and I don't want any further op amp, so I am going to close this. Okay, so now you can see that it consists of pin number 3, that is a non-inverting input, 2 is inverting input, pin number 4 is our minus VCC, and pin number 7 is a plus VCC. The next pin number 6 is to read the output. Fine, and pin number 1 and pin number 5 is of no use, okay, for us. Okay, if you see this figure, you can see that pin number 2, pin number 3, pin number 7, 4 and 6 are important one. Okay, so that we will use here. And once you are placed with this one, you can see that on the top, on the pin number 7, we are using plus VCC, and in the pin number 4, we are going to use minus VCC. So for that, I am going to switch back to this multisim. Again, I will go to the place, click on the place. Now I want to place the potential. For that, go to the sources, and next you can see here power source will be there. Within that, can select DC power and click OK. Now you can see that the cursor, okay, this power potential is attached with our mouse cursor. Okay, so you can see that this negative terminal of this DC power is pointing towards the pin number 7, but we have to apply positive. Okay, so for that I have to rotate this. So I'm going to use a shortcut key called Control R. Okay, once I'm done with this one, you can see that now the longer terminal of that DC is pointing towards the 7. Okay, so that is, it is appropriate one. So I'm going to keep it over like this. Now again, one more DC power supply I'm going to use, because for the pin number 4 I should use, right? You can see that now for the pin number 4, right, but you can see that we have to apply the negative, but it's DC power with a positive, that is a longer terminal is facing towards the 4, so hence I have to go for rotation. Okay, so 2 times I will going to use the Control R. Once it is done, I am going to place it over here, and further it is asking, but I don't want. Okay, so you can see that this is the negative is near to the pin number 4, and positive of this voltage is near to the pin number 7, right? That is what we can see in our figure also. Okay, this is the positive, okay, and this is the negative. Now next one you can observe here, pin number 2. Pin number 2 here it is above, okay, whereas in this figure you can see that pin number 2 is below. Okay, that we should take care. Okay, otherwise we should not treat, okay, the above terminal with the 2, because it is a non-inverting terminal. We are focusing on the pin number 2, which is a inverting terminal, right? So based upon that, what I'm going to use, I'm going to use two components. One is a capacitor and another one is resistor. Okay, so capacitor is having 0.1 microfarad. Okay, and next one is a resistor of 1 kilo ohm that I'm going to place in the same way. Fine. So next I'm going to click on this. So here in near to the pin number 2, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to the place, and here I will select component. In the component, I am going to use our basics. In the basic, I am going to use first capacitor. Okay, capacitor. So here you can see that multiple values are there. Okay, so you can search for 0.1 microfarad. Okay, 0.1 microfarad. Okay, here it is our 0.1 microfarad. Click on OK. Right. So the next one, this capacitor will be kept over here. Okay, and it is asking one more, but I don't want. Okay, so let me close this one. Right, and next one. Okay, let me drag further down. Okay, so that I can place other components properly. Next one, I'm going to use again place component. Now I want a resistor. Okay, for resistor I will go to the resistor, and I want the value of 1 K. Okay, 1K. Let me search for the 1K. So here it is the 1K. Select OK, and this one I'm going to keep it over here. Okay, still it is asking, do you want one more? Yes, obviously for R1 and R2. That is for near to this pin number 3. Okay, so one I'm going to keep it over here, and one more resistor that I'm going to keep it over here. Okay, right. Once the resistors are placed, okay, that is the that are the required one. Now I can change the values. You can see that here our R2 value is 1.8K. Okay, see, whenever you keeping this register, the particular software is going to assign the name for that register. Okay, so you have only privilege to change the resistance value. Okay, and you can change the capacitance value of the capacitor, but you should not change the name of the capacitor and the resistors, because it is going to create the problems. Okay, while simulating, okay, it is going to throw an error to you, which is very hard to identify. Now the next one, let me go back to the figure. You can see that now 1K I have placed. Okay, you can see that here it is displaying in the top, but in our condition it is becoming below because our pin number 2 is below. Similarly, the pin number 3 is above, hence this R1 and R2 is above. You can see in this figure it is R1 is 1.8K, R2 is 10K, but here R2 is 1.8K and R3 is 1K. Okay, so sorry, that is not 1K, we have to update it to 10K. 10K, right? And after that you can see that we have to connect all these components. Okay, so for that let me go for wires, and before that let me go for the wires. First I'm going to connect this voltage with this pin number 7. Okay, and this one will connected with the pin number 4, right? And next one is this capacitor and resistor. Okay, both are connected. Okay, and in between these two we have this pin number 2. That is what we can observe. Right? Pin number 2 is in between capacitor and resistor of 1 kilo ohm. Once it is done, then similarly you can perform for this one also. R3 and R2s are connected. Okay, you can see that it is somewhat below. Okay, so it is better that I have to bring up. Okay, so now I can connect these two. Okay, you can see that they are in a straight line. Okay, so you have to select this particular component and you can drag. Okay, it is also possible, but whenever you are giving the connections in this way, you should be careful that this wire should not touch to this wire, otherwise some other kind of output you will get. The next one is this pin number 3 is connected with between the R3 and R2. Okay, that is what we can observe here also, right? This 1.8K and 10K, between this we have the pin number 3. The next one, this 1.8K, it is connected with the pin number 6, and 1K is also connected with the pin number 6. So here from pin number 6 I'm going to stretch like this, and I'm going to keep it over like this, and next I'm going to take the turn, right? So in the same way you can connect this one with this terminal. Okay, so you can see that there is a kind of dot, so it is a junction. It's a kind of junction here. Okay, in which you can see that R2 is connected with the pin number 6, and R1 is also connected with the pin number 6, right? So after that I have to place the grounds. You can see that your grounds are there. Okay, for the capacitor and for the resistors I'm going to place the capacitors and resistors. Okay, fine. So let me go to the place, select component, and in the group go to the sources. In the sources, go to power sources. Here we have a ground. Select the ground and keep it one over here. And I want multiple grounds, and one more I'm going to keep it over here. The next one is for this voltage, because its negative should be grounded and its positive should be grounded. Okay, so in this way I'm going to keep all those things. Okay, now I'm going to close it, and now it is the time for connecting all these components. Okay, so R3, its other terminal is connected to ground. Similarly the capacitor, okay, so it will be connected to the ground. Fine, and this voltage negative will be connected to the ground, and this potential positive is connected to ground. Right, so this is the structure, okay, that we can observe. Now next one, we have to keep the oscilloscope. So for that, go to the right part of your simulator. You can see multimeter, function generator, wattmeter, and oscilloscopes will be there. Click on the oscilloscope and keep it like this. Okay, you can see that the oscilloscope is kept. Next one, again I will go for place. I will select the component. I will select the ground. Okay, just below to the negative terminal of this channel A, you can see that there is a channel A and channel B will be there. So we are bothering about only positive values, not about the negative values. So ground is kept exactly beside to the just below to the negative terminal of channel A. Similarly for the channel B also I am going to keep. Okay, so just below, so I am going to keep it like this. Okay, so this is over. Now next, connect all these things. This one is connected and this one is also connected, right? So next one is I have to read the output. As we have seen that channel A will be used for reading the output of this op amp, and the channel B is used for to reading the capacitor charging and discharging, right? So if I go back to this figure, you can see that from this particular point, okay, you can see that a circle, okay, a circle. So here we are going to read the output for to see the capacitor charging and discharging, okay, for channel B, and our V out will be for the channel A. So this positive terminal of this one, either I can connect over here, okay, because anyhow, okay, you can see that it is not connected properly. So let me connect this properly. Okay, you can see that there is a dot will be there, red dot. Okay, means it is a junction. Then similarly, this particular channel P is connected with between the capacitor charging and discharging. That is nothing but I am going to connect like this in this junction. Right. So this is the connection. Okay, that we can see. Fine. So next one is, let me save this one. Okay. After saving, I will click. I will click on this. Execution is happening. You can see that there is a triangle, okay, which is blinking, means execution is happening. So double click on this oscilloscope. You can see that there is a continuous movement I can observe for 10 millisecond per divisions. So go for the lower, again lower. You can see that again lower. So you can see that the waveform is moving. Okay, let me stop this. Okay, let me stop this, and if you feel that okay, background color is not suitable, okay, I can't read the value, just click on the reverse. It's going to change the background color. Okay, now if you want, you can able to read. Okay, you can able to read this one. Now here you can see that there is a square waveform is nothing but your op amp output, and this a kind of triangular waveform is nothing but your charging and discharging of your capacitor. Okay, so next one, we have to read the values. For reading the values, we have to go to the table. Okay, see, this is one more simulation by using the PSpice simulator, but we are not using PSpice simulator, we are using Multisim, and Multisim is more user friendly than the PSpice. Now let us go to the observation table, and we can see that the simulation. Okay, you can see that simulation case 1 and case 2 here. Okay, let me go for the one. Okay, here you can see that simulation case 1 is there. Similarly, in the below case 2 is there. Okay, so first of all is we have to calculate the time period, okay, in terms of millisecond. So here we have this channel, this is the timeline 2 and this is timeline 1, right? So let me go for the black color only, it is quite visible. So this is a channel 1 and not a channel 1, this is a this timeline 1. Okay, if I want I can further, I can reduce this. Okay, you can see that 200 microseconds per divisions. Okay, means each and every divisions is having 200 microsecond. Okay, or 0.2 millisecond. And all these vertical blocks, what you can see, they are for 5 volt per divisions that you can see. Okay, for both channel A and channel B. Okay, this is the same thing what we have observed in our hardware part also. So to calculate the time period, I have to include both the positive half cycle and negative half cycle, right? So let me assume that this is my starting point. Okay, let me use this starting point. Okay, you can see that this is the starting point and its end point. Okay, so I will click on this. I'm going to select this. Okay, little bit. Okay, you can see that this is my end point and this is my starting point. And if you calculate, you can see that T2 minus T1 is giving me 558. Okay, 0.065 microsecond, which in terms of millisecond it will become 0.558. Okay, 0.558 millisecond. Okay, 0.558 millisecond. Okay, so which is nothing but almost 2 kilohertz, right? Because 0.5 millisecond means it is 2 kilohertz, right? So because this is what the design that we have done. So we have done for the frequency 2 kilohertz, so our time period will be 0.5 millisecond. So here we are getting near to the 0.5. Okay, so that is 0.558 millisecond, right? So convert that one into frequency and you are going to get the in terms of hertz. The next one is UTP and LTP. Okay, so this part we call it as the intersection part of the output and the input waveform. Okay, in the positive quadrant we call it as the upper trip point, and in the negative quadrant we call it as a lower trip point. Okay, either you can use any one of them. Just I'm going to use the channel. This is the timeline one. You can see this is the intersection will be there. Okay, you can see that there is an intersection. Okay, almost intersection was there. Okay, fine. Now you can see that there is an intersection will be there. Okay, so now similarly for the channel B also I'm going to keep it for this below. Okay, okay, every time it will take some time. Okay, let me take this much. Okay, very near. Okay, very hard. Okay, fine. So there is an intersection. You can see that um, both channel A and channel B are showing of the values of that is uh, that is 9.57. Okay, so it is showing that a 9.574 and channel B is showing that 9.441. What you can do is you can add both and divide it by 2. Okay, so you will get the value that is you can predict that it is a 9.5. Okay, let me assume that it is a 9.5. That is the addition of this channel A and channel B. Okay, with respect to time T1. Okay, timeline T1. Okay, so 9.571 divided by plus 9.441 divided by 2. Okay, let me take that it is a 9.5. Fine. So similarly for the lower point, you can see with respect to T2, we have the minus 0.46 and here we have a minus 9.445. Okay, so actually it is not properly sitting over there. Okay, but actually it will become as that of our T1 channel A. Okay, same thing. So here also we will get minus 9.5 volt. That is our UTP. Okay, plus 9.5 volt is our UTP and minus 9.5 is the volt is the our LTP. So next, what is the next one? Next one, we have to calculate the plus Vsat and minus Vsat, that is the saturation voltage. So this above part, okay, in the positive quadrant is the saturated voltage, and in the negative quadrant, this part we call as the saturated voltage. Okay, so this is in positive, so I can keep it over here like this. You can see that highest value, okay, is 11.112, okay, volt, right, because it is a square waveform is a channel A, right, so that is the output. Okay, so similarly channel timeline 2 will be kept on this bottom. You can see that it is a minus 11.11 because we have applied the potential of a 12 volt, okay, and we are getting the saturation voltage of plus 11 volt, okay, or 11.11 volt for the VSAT, and for minus Vsat it will be minus 11.11 volt. Okay, so this is the values for the case 1. Fine, so next one is a case 2. In the case 2, in the simulation case 2, we have to make this design, okay, for the 1 kilohertz. So up to now we have done for the 2 kilohertz, now we have to go for the 1 kilohertz. So for this, what we have to do is we have to just double the resistors value. Okay, so let me stop this. Next I'm going to double the this resistance values, that is a 10k become 20k, 1.8k becomes 3.6k, and 1k will become 2k. Fine, and this capacitor value will be as it is. Okay, now next one I'm going to save this. Next, execute. Okay, next double click on this. You can see the square waveform is coming. Charging and discharging also visible. Stop it. Next one, again take the readings. Okay, so where is this, the timeline? Okay, timeline 2, that I'm going to keep it over here. Okay, you can see that almost there only. Okay, color has been changed, and this is the timeline 1 that I'm going to keep it over here. Okay, okay, fine. So positive half cycle and negative half cycle, so T2 minus T1 will be 1 millisecond. Okay, almost 1 millisecond, so the frequency will be 1 kilohertz, right? That is our simulation case 2. Again same way, again find for the remaining values, right? What is the next value? UTP, LTP plus VSAT and minus VSAT. So plus Vsat, this intersection point, sorry, this UTP is this intersection point, and minus Vsat is this intersection point. So go for this and click on, keep it on this, yes, okay, almost. Okay, fine. Similarly for this, go for the bottom. Okay, almost there. Now you can see that channel A and channel B is a 9.715 plus 9.5. Okay, take it as 9.5. So it is giving the answer, that is 9.7 plus 9.5 divided by 2. Okay, so we will assume that it is 9.6 volt. Okay, that is our plus that is UTP. And similarly the LTP will be with respect to T2, channel A and channel B, minus 9.5 and minus 9.4. So it will be minus 9.5 volt. Okay, it is minus 9.5 volt. The next one, calculate the plus Vsat and minus Vsat. That is nothing but keep it on this side, and this is the saturated voltage. So square waveform is the channel A. You can see that channel A, the waveform, okay, with respect to T1, okay, it is 11.114 volt. It is positive, and similarly for this negative, okay, for the channel A you are getting minus 11.114. Okay, so this is the plus Vsat, okay, and this is the minus Vsat. So this is about how to do the simulation of a relaxation oscillator. Okay, so we have seen two cases. One is with respect to for the frequency of 2 kilohertz, in which we have resistance value of 1K, 1.8K and 10K, and capacitor is having of 0.1 microfarad. Fine. And later for the simulation for case 2, we have for a frequency of 1 kilohertz, we have doubled the resistors. So that is of 2K, 3.6K and 20K. And finally the capacitor value will be unchanged. Right. So this is what we can observe in this simulation, and all those things we can observe in this your CLM also. Right. So this is all about the simulation part. I hope you understood the concept. Thanks for the listening. Have a great day.